madman walk the line again today. Entries of confusion, dear diary, I'm here to stay. Manic depression befriends me. Hear his voice. Sanity now, it's beyond me. There's no choice. I had a friend send me a picture of his drum set that I used to play with many years ago. And he used to play Ozzy Osbourne better than Ozzy Osbourne. You know, he would all those bands from that era, and he had a downstairs thing with the drum set, and he would just blast away with the record. And I'm like, oh my God, he's doing Deep Purple better than Deep Purple does Deep Purple. I kind of learned an Ozzy Osbourne tune from back in that era and put a jazz thing on it. And now he kind of wants to get together with me and maybe do something where we take those songs from the rock, you know, from when we grew up, maybe a set of those tunes, and do, you know, take them into, you know, into jazz land through the improvisational aspect. And that serves the purpose, again, of making a statement about the present and about our current lives through music that was originally composed in the past.
I think it's a great idea.
So now let's talk about how we can further your project. Basically, your idea is money comes from live music through ticket sales, etc. And that's a way that you're hoping you can take the money from that and get that into outstanding causes. Is that correct?
Yeah, because the challenge when you're a not-for-profit is you apply for grants, certainly in this country. And the grant providers will say, here's some money, go do some good stuff. And you're going to go, great, thank you very much. And that gives you about 2 years worth of stuff. And then naturally you run out of money because budgets are tight, and even though you're trying to do the right thing. And you go back and you say, please, can I have some more? And they go, no. And then you kind of go, oh, well, that kind of scuppers the project really quite a bit. So one of the things I'm curious about, Rick, is how do you do it? How did you get started, and what have you learnt, and where are you now?
So let me tell you how I did it. Basically, I had to come out of the box for this. I had to come up with new ideas and techniques. Go to jazzforpeace.org/tree, TREE, and let me know if that comes up. This is an interactive tree that has 7 different fundraising branches. For example, look at number 7. I don't know if you can make that bigger. So number 7 is the result. Here's the result that I'm hoping that you want to get for the outstanding cause.
7 says a more publicized, better funded, more sponsored, more supported, more befriended, and more prestigious organization moving forward than ever before.
Bingo. So that's what the intended result of a Jazz for Peace concert is. So in other words, we don't want to just get money to these people because in all honesty, money by itself, in a lot of ways, it's an entrapment because it enslaves people to have to make that much money just to stay in business every year. And if you don't keep funding them every year, they'll go out of business. So what they need is all these other things. They need to be more publicized. A lot of organizations are under publicized because our media is serving big corporations that are selling products. And they're not serving someone who has an amazing idea to make our world better, but the media doesn't serve that. Our media is serving corporate interests. So click on number 3 and let's see if that opens for you. Create publicity and awareness. Here we go. This is number 3, publicity and awareness. Now, this is me on NBC, which is national television in the United States, for an organization that had never even been on public access TV. And now when you play that, this is me creating publicity for this organization. So let's play it and hear what I do.
Quickly building a fan base right here in Hampton Roads.
And please welcome Rick Delarada. He's performing at the Contemporary Arts Center in Virginia Beach with Jazz for Peace. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome.
Tell me about Jazz for Peace.
Well, we started in 2002. Actually, the very first concert was 2001, shortly after 9/11. In 2002, I was invited by the United Nations to lead a band of Israeli, Palestinian, and American musicians for a concert for an international audience at the United Nations. That event garnered a lot of worldwide attention and publicity because obviously uniting cultures in a positive way is such an essential thing nowadays in the climate we live in. So that led to a benefit concert series as well as a musical instrument donation series and educational series.
What are we looking at here?
This is a music video of one of my original compositions. It's called Living Inside a Daydream.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
tonight you are going to be performing at 7:30 at the Contemporary Arts Center in Virginia Beach, all for a local good cause.
That's right. We are raising funds as well as publicity and awareness for a local charity called Making a Difference Foundation, whose mission is to improve educational and career opportunities for youth and adults. And, by helping those who are helping others, we feel that we have the best chance to, make a difference in the world.
Tell us about some of the other musicians that will be playing with you.
Well, some of the greatest musicians in jazz have performed with Jazz for Peace. The very first concert featured myself, along with Grammy Award winner Paquito de Rivera on saxophone, Eddie Gomez on bass, and Lenny White on drums, as well as the London Symphony also appears on the Jazz for Peace CD. We try to use multicultural groups because jazz is a universal language, the great American art form of jazz, and it unites cultures and people in such a positive way. It's spoken worldwide, and so we're able to bring not only American musicians but musicians from other cultures together and show how we can work together in a positive way.
Very nice.
Do you think folks are starting to get it? Is your music making a difference?
Well, I really do. I think, the music has always been powerful, especially for the rest of the world. A lot of Americans don't realize how well jazz is appreciated and acknowledged and embraced worldwide. You can go to almost any country and see and find someone speaking this great American language of jazz. But here in America now, where Jazz for Peace has taken off, people are getting behind the mission to help those who are helping others, the mission to bring music back into our schools, jazz into many of the schools for the first time, and we'll be donating a musical instrument to the Making a Difference Foundation as part of our musical instrument donation program, which donates musical instruments to underprivileged children.
Fantastic. Rick Delarada and Jazz for Peace tonight at 7:30, the Virginia Beach Contemporary Arts Center at the Oceanfront. Tickets are available at the door.
Rick, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
All right, have fun tonight.
All right.
Wow.
To give you an idea, that's one of 7 branches, Paul. So in other words, we are growing something called an empowerment tree. We are empowering the organization by making them more publicized, better funded, more befriended, more prestigious, all of those things that you say. Okay. And when you go to that empowerment tree, you see these different things. More sponsored is one of them. If you want to get back to the tree, we can actually click on branch 2 and see how they're more sponsored, because a lot of them don't have any sponsors. A lot of them have never even had a fundraiser. So here's that branch. Now click on 2, which is more sponsored organization, branch number 2. Maybe if you can get that flyer at the bottom. It's a concert for the Arizona Justice Project. Those are the 5 original sponsors that we got for them. Of course, they're in Arizona, so we got the baseball team.
The Diamondbacks, yeah.
U.S. Airwaves apparently has a major base in Phoenix. So they came on board. Chase is a bank that came on board. And there's 2 other things.
Pitta Jungle and the University of Phoenix.
There you go. What we were trying to do with that really is get local sponsors, even though some of those are big names that people even in London know about. The bottom line is we start out with 5 local sponsors.
Yep.
Okay. And then we go to bigger sponsors as the event becomes more successful. Another thing that we go to as the event becomes more successful is new and prestigious supporters. So, I mean, if you want to go back to the tree, if you click on number 4, you'll see bigger sponsor names. We wait until it's time to grow that branch before we go to new and prestigious supporters and get them involved, because they see, wow, this is a confirmed event. It's happening on this date. It's got all these VIPs already committed. It's now open to the general public to purchase tickets. It's got sponsors at the local level. It's got sponsors at the international level. I'm crazy not to get involved in this, especially if there's a synergy. And again, synergy is such a big thing at Jazz for Peace. And you'll see new and prestigious supporters. So click on that.
Number 5.
Prestigious and celebrity supporters. Yep. Branch number 5.
Yeah.
And when you click on that, and there you go. These are prestigious supporters that we brought onto previous Jazz for Peace events.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of people think, oh, Jazz for Peace, you have all these world leaders and you've got these celebrities. You've got no, we don't. We brought them onto each individual event. I was just telling someone the other day that we had a breast cancer concert out here on Oyster Bay, Long Island, that exceeded our wildest dreams. What would happen is a lot of these branches would help the event be better than anyone ever imagined. So you can imagine the testimonials we receive from the organizations when we overshot their wildest dreams, because even they were overshot our dreams. These branches can do things that you never even thought of. And that was one where we ended up getting a famous TV station called The Sopranos. Well, somebody, when we told them breast cancers, that resonated with someone because his mother maybe had breast cancer or whatever, you know what I mean? So now they want to get involved. And that's what I mean by synergy. I'll give you examples of these events. Barack Obama came on board because of a woman contacted me from Chicago. Her son had been murdered and it was a horrible situation. They caught the guy and they did a study. And this guy had been a monster because he was devoid of the arts and culture. Well, what do you see, Paul, when you look at the past history of wars? You see there's no arts and culture. You remove arts and culture and now you have monster behavior and monster mentality. And this was a monster that grew up devoid of all arts and culture. She was convinced that had he grown up embracing the arts and culture, he would have never murdered her fantastic, wonderful son. And this would have never happened. I told her I was going to deliver Barack Obama to her event, even though I had no idea I was going to do it. But I had to interject something positive because, it was such a horrific story. And I felt so anguished for this poor woman. And guess what? I told my volunteers, we got to deliver this. And you know what I mean? For this lady, we basically showed him this was your jurisdiction when you were a senator, and this is what we do. And you know what? All of these guys are public servants. And if it's a celebrity, it's kind of the same ballgame. A celebrity is a wannabe public servant. They would like for their fame to be used for a good purpose.
Of course. And the bigger the platform, the easier it is to do that. One of my mentors is Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, who's probably known as one of the world's top coaches. And that's his view. He says, people who say they don't want to be famous, he calls them on it. And he says, actually, if you're famous, you can do so much with that, so much for good. And that's the reason to get famous, is to have the reach, the visibility, and the connections to be able to leverage all that to do more good. So what's wrong with being famous?
And everything you're saying, not only is it true, but it's Exhibit A. If I could prove that we have the capacity as a species to take funding for world peace from 0% where it is now to 1% by the end of my 365 celebration of the 25th anniversary of Jazz for Peace, I would use what you said as an exhibit for proof that
Yeah.
we can do it as a species. And guess what? This model can do it if it was repeated ad infinitum by organizations like yours and others. There's got to be more of you. And let's get them all together and let's repeat. Because if you go to the bottom, you'll see how this whole branch started. See where it says on behalf of the residents. Okay, so that's how that branch started, Michael Bloomberg. Because I showed up to an event for Holocaust survivors. It was a community that helps Holocaust survivors that wanted to expand their services for the elderly because they had done such a great job with Holocaust survivors. And now there are other elderly people that need help. And we did an event for them. The event was so successful. They said, could you please do one more? We just loved this event. It helped us in so many different ways. When we did the second one, the letter from Michael Bloomberg was there and they were reading it to the audience. And I was like, wow, if the mayor of my city can figure out what I'm doing and show an incredible support for it, why not the rest of the world? And sure enough, when I went to Africa on the second of my 9 trips, the Prime Minister of Kenya wanted his people to know that we want the whole world involved in saving our great migration and all of these situations that are in peril. So what you are representing is absolutely what we need in this world.
I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. You know, people like you are an inspiration in terms of you've forged the path. There is a way. You've learned some hard lessons. And now you're in a position where you're not only scaling what you do, but you can then support people like me starting out. Because why wouldn't you have this in every country? Why would you not do this?
Why would you not?
And all you've got to do is to get the flow of money to work in a particular way. And
So now I've shown you how we help people in 7 different ways besides money. So that's a big idea of why people think Jazz for Peace is too good, true. How are you possible? Well, because we're not just throwing money at the problem. That's one reason, you know. And the thing is, in your world, which was my world, that's all people really know how to do. They don't really know about these 7 other ways that all make as big a difference. Some ways make a bigger difference than money. We've had people call us up and said that branch over there was bigger than the funds we raised, even though we were very happy with the funds we raised. This thing here, I don't know which branch they chose, but either more publicized, either more befriended, either more sponsored, etc. You know, we've had sponsors help the organization year after year after year from that event. But now I want to show you how the event gets confirmed. So let's go to a page, jazzforpeace.org /payitforward.pdf. Now, this is the only way I know how to confirm event. If there were more ways, maybe we could be thousands of more organizations, where there could be millions of more of these events. But this is the only way I know how to get it confirmed. So jazzforpeace.org /payitforward.pdf.
Can you
okay,
see
here
that?
it is. Now you're going to see a conversation between myself and the Red Cross. And this is how the event got confirmed within the conversation. Now, this is very rare to be able to do this, you know, right in one conversation. But if you can make that even bigger, maybe you can read it, or maybe you can read it. Make it as big as you can, and then you can go ahead and read it.
So it says, "Dear outstanding cause, below is a true story as told to me by our founder, who was asked to an informal meeting with a curious not-for-profit in need, Deborah Cheritelli, Senior Event Coordinator."
So she basically remembers this conversation and she describes it for us. So here's what happens. I show up to this meeting and here's what the head of the board of that organization says.
"Hi, Rick. After careful review of the information your team has provided, we'd like to start out with an opening statement."
Okay, so he says that, and I'm like, wow, that sounds great because I've got to get through 3 letters here, A, B, and C. I've got 3 steps to get through. And when he tells me their opening statement, their comment on our organization, that's letter A of the ABC steps. So that's going to get 1 letter right out of the way, right from him telling us what he thinks about our organization. So now continue.
"Partnering with Jazz for Peace is an opportunity for the community to experience world-class music whilst raising much-needed funds."
Okay, so that was their opinion of our program after taking a look at it. Well, guess what? That comment is letter A of the ABC steps, okay? Letter A is the organization gives its comment. Letter B is when we normally we'll create like a one-page document telling other board members and other supporters what we want to do and what do they think about it, inviting them as a VIP guest of honor to the event and saying, listen, submit your comment and be a VIP at this event. And they will give name and comment. And those are VIP guests of honor. That's letter B. So let's look at what happens. I basically said, okay, I say, wow, right? Okay, so go ahead and read that part by me, because I was going to explain that to him, and then I saw that he had already done it. So go ahead.
Okay. So the comment goes, wow, that's so amazing and yet so true. How would you like our team to turn that comment into a much needed sustainable funds for your amazing services?
That's what we would do next. We would show him how to do that. But guess what? They had already done that homework. So let's see what he said.
Actually, we've already reviewed the material your team provided that reveals the secret of your success, which is to start out with an already successful event via an easy 3-step process that each outstanding cause completes, enabling each event to be confirmed at no cost to us, and in the best of instances with funds already raised for us and in our account before we even start the fundraising process.
Right. So that's the ABC that I was just talking to you about. He had already reviewed that we have a 3-step process. If someone's at that page, they can click on easy 3-step and they can see more information on that. But basically, now he already told me that he knows that we have 3 steps. One step is to give your comment. The other step, like I said, is to use that comment into a one-page that describes the event so that you can get all of your friends and supporters committed to be a VIP guest of honor. Now, don't forget, a VIP guest of honor can and often has got paid to go to the event because they help us by committing to a pair of discount tickets each. So they commit to a pair of tickets so the guy can bring his wife or whatever, but as a VIP. So now he's going to the VIP ceremony. Well, you just saw the local sponsors on that one event. We had regional sponsors, national sponsors. So all these sponsors give gifts to the organization. So in other words, they want to show, they want to sell products. So if we have a wine sponsor, Robert Mondavi's Wines is going to be there giving all these VIPs wine. You know what I mean? Food sponsors. We've had all kind of Whole Foods Market, whatever, all these different food sponsors. I think one of the food sponsors was on the one you showed in Arizona. One of those people was a food sponsor. And so his food, all those VIPs were eating his food, so free food. Some of them give gifts. So my point is, they literally get paid to come to the event by jumping on this early bird offer. Now, basically, so what he's saying is we already know that there are 2 other steps. That's what he's telling me. So now I said, wow, again, that is so correct because there's 2 more steps. Would you like me to show you those? So I'm thinking, geez, I can't show him letter A. He's already completed it. Letter B, he already knows about. Would you like me to show you how to complete those steps? And let's hear what he says next, Paul.
Actually, sitting across and on the other side of me are 8 board members, all of whom have received enough positive feedback to be able to pledge for so many pairs of VIP tickets each. This is more than enough to be able to confirm our Jazz for Peace event immediately at no cost to us, and also with funds already raised for us and in our account, so that we can start the fundraising process. Is that correct?
Now check it out. So, and of course I said yes. So check this out, Paul. Our most successful events are the ones where the organization spent the least amount of time getting the event confirmed. Because if you're dragging your feet and using up all of your energy trying to confirm the event, sometimes you're kind of tired or you don't have enough dry powder left to make it as big a success as the organization that just follows this, looks at this document and says, let's get this thing confirmed at the get-go. You know what I mean? So now this guy, he's there with his board members. So his board members are right at the meeting, and he's telling me our board members have already gone to there. Now, we will normally create a document for you to do that. So Jazz for Peace, normally, like I'm saying, we have a document, we create it for you. We go back and forth and then, okay, this is great. Our board members are going to love this. They give it to each board member. The board member can now go to their bridge group that they meet with every Wednesday. They're bowling on Thursday. These people that they've been telling about the organization, but never really participated. Hey, now you can participate. It's going to be Jazz for Peace. It's going to be this. You're going to be a VIP. So they basically said, our board members have already taken Jazz for Peace stuff, and we've already collected a whole bunch of, each board member. One guy has 5 VIPs, another guy has 8, somebody else has 15 because they're part of a culture group and they're like, hey, I need all you guys, So now they're telling me they have their VIP list. Originally, letter B would be that head of the board with his 8 board members would be on the VIP list, and maybe some of their supporters. So it will be one VIP list. But guess what they have in this meeting, Paul? 8 VIP lists, because each one of those people has a list of VIPs. You follow me?
I do.
Now, Paul, let me just clarify something. Let's say I just told you, as I told you, one guy did have 15 VIPs at least. I remember this. So let's say that guy had 15. How many VIPs does he really have? Well, let me tell you something. You would say 15. It's actually 30. It's a world-class cultural event. You're going to come accompanied by somebody, with your best friend or whoever, your date. Anyway, those 15 people are 30 tickets, is my point. Now multiply that by 8 people, even if it's 20 times 8, you know what I mean? That's, if those 8 people had 100 VIPs amongst them, it's 200 VIPs. So that's more than enough to confirm your event, because some of that money does have to go to Jazz for Peace, so that I don't have to try to swim all the way to London.
You don't want to do that, no.
Yes, exactly. So that also satisfies people that are interested in donating to Jazz for Peace, because what we show you at Jazz for Peace is value. Value for your donation. So by doing it this way, we're not taking your entire donation and dumping it on Evergreen, you know what I mean? Because they've never heard of Evenstar project. The project is great, but they never heard of it, and they might feel a little remiss if it's all going to someone they never heard of. This way, we're able to get, a lot of different organizations say, look, part of it went to here, part of it went to here. See, you've heard of Habitat for You. Oh, Habitat for Humanity. Yes, part of it went to them. You helped Habitat. So that makes them happy. It gives us autonomy. So this all works out organically, is my point. The bottom line is that guy, through those 8 board members and their list of VIP lists, those 8 VIP lists, has already confirmed his event. So that's how we confirm the events, Paul.
Okay, clever.
You see what I mean? Because the other way is, well, I'm going to show up for free, and then I'm going to take the money that comes in. That's fine. But what happens if your event is in Venice, Italy? How are you going to show up there for free? You know what I mean? You're going to have
to. Yeah, I get you.
And you might do that one time, but you might take your wife over to Venice, and you might do that.
Yeah.
But as the time,
we might swim.
You'll be swimming before you know it. What I want to do is show you how we do it, and unless we have a better model, I'm always willing to do something easier, better. But this is a way that has worked over 850 times, 9 times just in Africa alone.
Follow, success leaves clues. So follow the clues.
Yes. So we have a model that could create the first Jazz for Peace concert in the history of the UK, and bring me back there, since those freaking pictures, I hate to say, but they almost look like baby pictures when you go to Getty Images.
I'll be grateful for that. Be grateful for that.
So my point is, if we could get that confirmed and launch Evenstar, something like that. I'm just throwing ideas out, but
it's a great
phenomenal idea, right?
Yeah, it's a tremendous idea. Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that with me very much.
Folks, you're watching this because I'm putting this out there to hope that it actually comes through. And here's the other thing, Paul. If we could do it as part of the 25th anniversary of Jazz for Peace, go to jazzforpeace.org/latest press release.pdf. Okay, so this is the latest press release. Basically, it talks about the 25th anniversary, the unprecedented achievements. And when we say unprecedented, listen, 850 benefit concerts around the world for the most outstanding causes is an unprecedented achievement, Paul. I mean, listen, I stumbled into it like Jed Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies, but nevertheless, I have an unprecedented achievement.
Yeah, it is an achievement.
You know what I'm saying? No one's ever done anything like that. And listen, I don't want to take credit for it. I just want to say I'm glad that it has been done, and let's capitalize on that. So that's an unprecedented achievement we can capitalize. That thing at the United Nations, Unfortunately, Paul, nobody ever did it again. It's an unprecedented achievement. Had they done it again, we could have saved our country $3 trillion. Because I was sitting there with Israelis and Palestinians that said, hey, we don't want this war. Keep your money, divide it amongst the people,
Yeah.
something better. We don't want the war. But anyways, there's other unprecedented achievements. It talks about that peace concert in Lahore, Pakistan. There were terrorist warnings. I mean, listen, I tried to go to Pakistan and guess what they told me? Don't.
Yeah.
They said, don't go. You wouldn't believe when I went down to get my visa for that. They were like, hey, they sent me home the first time. The point is, music brings trust and it brings camaraderie. I've been everywhere, places where no one has ever been with this project, and I'm proud of it. Now, I'm just going to show you one more, easyletter.pdf. That press release talks about the 25th anniversary. Listen, this year, 9/11 is the 25th anniversary of 9/11, and that's the day I wrote that poem that I've been trying to live up to ever since. Okay, and this letter, again, talks about an unprecedented achievement, which is the Constitution of the United Nations, and it's now considered by such luminaries as, like say Barack Obama, Hurry Hands, countless others is what I want to say, because there's so many people who believe that. And if you click on that link, you will see tons of people who believe that that is really the most significant cultural event of our time, because if we were ever to capitalize it, we could save trillions of dollars in money for war and redirect it towards peace activities like this. Now, what I'd like you to do maybe is click on where it says wordpress.com/about. That one. Yeah, click on that. Okay, now make that a little bigger and scroll down. Now, this is my proof. There's a tree. We've been through that. Scroll down some more. And this is my proof. Keep going, keep going. All right, 15 awesome quotes. These are people that you all heard of. Ralph Nader, members of Congress. There's that guy in Africa, UNICEF, organizations, etc. Okay, but now keep going. Eventually you're going to get to a horse. There it is.
A horse, there you
And
go.
right from the horse's mouth, Paul, right from the horse's mouth. Now, the latest comments, we had to put links because you're going to see how long this already is. These are testimonials, and you can stop at any one. And you can see, like there, we miss you. Can't forget the great show you had at Jazz. Well, that's the venue in Uganda when Jazz for Peace went to Uganda, Africa. Keep going. You're right.
You only have to look. You only have to look at where.
Right. We have a prize at the bottom. No one's ever made it to the bottom. I mean, you're right. There we go. All right. And if you just stop at anyone, like just stop, and there it is. The concert on Saturday was absolutely awesome. Well, that's the lady that the concert was for. Fresh Start for Women. You know what I mean? That's her. That's the organization. So my point is, how could I can't even argue with these people if I wanted to. So how could I say this doesn't work, Paul? You see what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
This thing works, and it works in a big way. And this is what needs to metastasize, not cancer.
Yes.
We got to metastasize this. You know what I mean? And if we do it, we are going to, in 1 year, Paul, I want to do this. I want to take funding for world peace from zero where it is now, because we're in dystopia at zero funding for world peace and 100% for war. This is dystopia. And anyone who looks outside their window and thinks that it's reality is crazy, because it's not reality. It's a distorted version. War is funded at 100, $2 billion a day just for one of these wars. Could you imagine if $2 billion was distributed amongst the people of even one of the countries that are at war? It's insane. So we can do this on our own. Nobody even wants to stop us. It's not against the law. It's not harming anybody. It's helping everybody. Nobody wants to stop us. We should just be doing it. And what I want to do is I want to take the next 365 days from now, I want to take world peace funding to 1%. And I want the world to see how it looks to have $10 billion spread across the people of our world for peaceful purposes. And then maybe they'll want to go to 2% and 3%.
Okay.
Okay.
Why not?
Yes, why not? So what do you think? Is this something we might be able to pull off in the UK?
Well, it's not a question of if it's a question of when. It's never underestimate the power of a few good people who want to make a difference. You
know, Paul, we provide the way for those who have the will. Yeah. And right now, folks, you are staring at a wonderful guest that has the will. And all we want to do is provide the way. So that's what we need. We need the will. And let's hope that from our efforts to get through those 3 easy steps with you, we will have a date for an event, and we will have me at that event on that, committed to being at that event on that day. And all we need to do from there is grow that tree, branch to branch to branch. So in other words, some days we might not be able to sell many tickets today, but we got publicity today. Or we might not have been able to get much publicity, but we got a sponsor today. Every day, a little piece of that tree keeps growing, and it's fascinating.
It is.
Well, Paul, I want to thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to get your message out, but also to get our mutual message out to the world and let the world see what could happen just from an initial meeting as we did today for this podcast. I want to thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to thank you too, Rick. You've given me a quick masterclass in how to do this, and you have sown many seeds. So I look forward to our conversations beyond this as we move towards thinking about, okay, when is this going to happen? How do we make it happen?
In parting, is there anything you want to tell our listeners, how people can get in touch with you, or whatever you want to let them know, the projects that we've already talked about?
The best place to get in touch with me is on LinkedIn. You'll find me at Paul Crick, C-R-I-C-K. If you're interested in my professional work, then you can find links on there. I have started an Instagram account called the Evenstar Project. So that's EVENSTAR Project. And if you'd like to follow along and be early in the queue for the tickets for this event that I'm going to support Rick in producing, then please follow there. And then obviously, if you're local to where Rick is playing, then I absolutely encourage you to go and support and listen to the music that he and his group of musicians do, because it's all in a really good cause and very much needed in the world today.
Well, thank you so much, folks. On behalf of Paul Crick and you that have been joining us for these wonderful podcasts, I just want to say to everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And always remember, the final solution is love.
Indeed.